By the way, I coined the term Obamatrons and Obamanoids, and it's now popularly used all over the media. I mean, I'm not mad about it. It's just that it's interesting to see stuff we coined being used. Obama, Obama, Obama. Oh. Remember when he won back in? And if you just tuned in, this doesn't mean that we're saying McCain would have been good. No, they're both bad. Can't you understand? We know it's a false choice. But Obama was the heir apparent. They had plates, coins made about him. They described him as if he was Jesus in the mainstream media. People were crying, saying, I'm not going to have to pay for my car or house or cell phone. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you for everything. Now the health care bill's passed, and they go, it doesn't cover pre-existing condition and doesn't give you health care, and it cuts Medicare and Medicaid, but raises taxes. Oh, I'm afraid the insurance companies wrote it as a way to rip you off and make you buy their product. Oh, yes. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so enjoyable. But here's the good news. Obama loses the left. Suddenly it's cool to bash Barack. Real name, Barry Soetoro. Everything's fake about this guy. His real name is admittedly Barry Soetoro. It's incredible. Everything's fake. Europeans still worship him, and Washington's Obamatrons remain smitten. Oh, they're smitten. But former supporters are turning on the president, and the article gets into that. In polls like Rasmussen and others, he's below 40. They've got cooked polls nationally where he's 45, 46. Still, that's the lowest of any president this far in ever. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. Okay? And it's also been confirmed what we told you a month ago. They hire between 400,000 and 1 million. It varies every month. Census workers. And then they fire them the next month. It's temporary. They lay them off and hire them again. And then they count that. And even with that, I have the mainstream media reports here. Here's Bloomberg. Government jobs account for 95% of May job increases. A government job takes 2 private sector jobs. A green job, which isn't a green job. It's just the local mafia stealing from you and funding themselves, costs 2 jobs. So you better figure this out. Okay, we're in a depression. We have 23% unemployment, not 10 like they tell you. We have higher inflation than they tell you. You know that. Austin is supposedly the best city in the country right now, according to Forbes and Money and all these other, and half the restaurants I try to go to are shut down. I've been going to this Mexican food restaurant about twice a year for 15 years or longer. It's a nice place in North Austin. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's over off around 45th Street or so. I've been in there twice in the last 6 months, and it's not even half full. They've got one little dining room partially full of people. 5 years ago, you couldn't get in there, okay? Everything is falling apart. All right? The economy is shot, and everything's going to these offshore bankers. And all the money goes to interest to the IMF and World Bank. Money goes into Africa, it turns right around and goes right back into the bank's hands. They have a banker bailout here, supposedly for your mortgages. None of it goes to that. Goes right back to the bankers and bonuses. They're doing great. They're getting record money. They're setting up their world government. They're meeting at Bilderberg Group. They're laughing at you. They think this is funny. And I want to get to a few calls, at least Eddie, Mark, Doug, and a few others that are holding. Colonel 6, 888-201-2244. I've given the number out today. It's always good to give the number out. 888-201-2244 on this live 6th day of June, this Sunday edition. But let me get really focused here quickly. I'm just going to play a minute or two of this. The whole video's up on Infowars.com. This is just such a big deal. The headline is 94% of laws are never read. They're voted on from cell phones. The senators don't even have to be there. And they don't even read them, and that's why he says 13 trillion, it's more like 14 trillion, and that's what we currently owe. Just like if you have a mortgage and say $2,000 is due this month, but the $200,000 mortgage, you really owe $400,000 on the note because of interest. So if they're telling you 13 trillion, and currently it's 14 trillion, Senator DeMitt's wrong. It's almost 14 trillion now, is currently due right now. But that's like you owe $2,000 this month on a $400,000 mortgage. Comprende? But just to understand the level of the criminality. The government throws the book at you. The government squeezes you and audits you and takes money you don't owe and puts penalties on you. And they've got all these new taxes. But meanwhile, they don't read 94% of the bills. And lobbyists just come in and just give them the bill, and they say, basically, Heil Hitler, and they pass it. That's why Obama spent more money than all presidents before him combined. Bush spent more than the last group of presidents, triple the size of government. They are raping everything. They are looting. They're going for broke. They're not going to stop. Do you understand? They're not going away. They have made the criminal decision to rob everything. None of you are safe. Not your First Amendment, not your private property, not your farms, your ranches, your businesses, the carbon taxes. This is a criminal takeover. This is a revolution by offshore financial interest with a corporate takeover. It's a whole nother story. I'm going to try to tell it tomorrow. I've got video of it. We got to get it off my iPhone. I took my kids fishing on Barton Creek in Austin. And it's been raining a lot in the last few months, so it was flowing. It's usually a dry bed creek, but little perch get in it because it's been wet the last year. And, it's easy to catch perch, and the kids have fun. And my 2.5-year-old caught her first fish, and it was very exciting. And I saw the commies destroying the dam. A little rock dam that the city puts up so that when the creek stops flowing, little areas still have pools. And the commies just tore the dam out and let the water out. And I was there 2 weeks ago with them and saw one of them creeping around trying to move rocks when nobody was looking. Well, I went down there, and they had removed all the big rocks and had let almost all the water out. And because they don't like human progress. It's a gang takeover. They bash out your SUV windows at Zilker Park. They attack people. You know about them burning down ski resorts. They want your property. They want your house. And they work for the big banks. Now, they don't know it. They're like little cult automaton robots, Obama. But they think, they want to wild things. They call it rewilding. They think a little dam, which the water goes over, is about 2 feet high, just rocks piled up, that the city put there, by the way. They think those are evil, and they put sticks across the paths, not wanting you down there. Folks, these are very dangerous people, but side issue, I'm already digressing, because it goes into the mindset. They're akin to people that drive in the fast lane slow and sit there with enjoyment and get mad when you drive around them and try to block you. They're mentally retarded. They have no destiny. They have no soul. All they want to do is hold people back. I'm trying to develop a name for them, but basically destructo goblins or control freak creatures, progress haters. Well, it doesn't matter. They're the ones that want your guns. They want your property. They can't produce anything. They just want to run your life. They want to suck you dry. And they run the Congress, the big banks do, and 94% of the bills aren't even voted on. Let's go ahead and play this clip just to give you an idea of how totally lawless the government is. Here is Senator DeMitt.
I appreciate him willing to put some solutions forth here, but I think it's really important that we talk about the bigger picture when we talk about secret holes. And I do want to make it clear I'm not interested in holding anything in secret. As a matter of fact, whenever we do, as part of steering or personally, we let the cloakroom know they can tell anyone they want that we're holding a bill. So I'm not trying to preserve any kind of aspect of a secret hole, but I think it is important that America know what we're talking about here. At this point in the Senate, 94% of all the bills are passed unanimous consent. 94%. So this is hardly a lack of productivity. And what this
we're going to come back with this. We're going to come back and finish it, and then take a few calls and get to a bunch of other news. But I want to tell you about the sun. And again, with all this government fear-mongering, it's probably just that. But, I mean, I'm reading this NASA report, and they're acting like, this is the movie The Knowing or something with Nick Cage. We'll be right back.